I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Sprint Car Cup heading off to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where Mark Smith holds the track record set back in 1989. Something tells me, though, we're going to see a little bit more than that here tonight as we'll pick up Mark Smith. My name is Chris Graham. I don't think I'm going to be joined in the booth by anybody tonight. Looks like Bizzle's internet just died, so looks like it'll be a solo show. Light the comments up. Let me know where you're watching from. We will be able to get them up on the air. And qualifying just underway for the season finale for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup, and this one is going to be a good one. Tracy Petter heads to the top of the speed charts, 20.164 seconds. 2016 with a 4. Rich Foreman second quick at a 23.80. As drivers are turning lap number 1. Lap number 2 going up on the board for Tracy Petter, and it is even faster. 19.960 seconds. 1996 with a 0 for Tracy Petter. A blazingly fast lap. Jeffrey Stanton moving up to the second position. Let's take a look here at Jeffrey, that number 94 machine, the Napa Auto Parts Rockwell, North Carolina entry. Yeah, we got some of the comments coming in already here. Tough break for John Sluter as Jeffrey Stanton completes his qualification run. Second lap, not faster, so he'll ride that 22.87. Pick up Dylan Vilashinsky in car number 6, making his way off towards turn 1, through 3 and 4 this time. Lap number 1 on the board for Vilashinsky, 20.696. Nice lap, not terribly quick on lap number 1, but about what we saw out of Tracy Petter. Tough break for John Sluter. Sucks that my pedals tore up. Have to watch instead of race. That's a tough break, John, unfortunately. Sign on saying, have a good race. He'll be watching us on the second monitor. Hey, enjoy the show, buddies. We've got that number 6 machine of Vilashinsky moving up into position number 11. But how about Connor Knowlton putting that number 8 on the outside of the front row? 0.269 seconds back. Nice lap for Connor Knowlton. 20.229 seconds. Now on the racetrack, one of our championship combatants coming around to complete lap number 1, Mitch Drevnovsky. It is a crazy tight points battle here at the front of the field, and we'll show it to you as soon as qualifications are over here. Drevnovsky in position number 5 at a 23.73. He may be on pace to put this car on the front row. Lap number 2 for Drevnovsky will be second quick, 20.066. A full 1/10 of a second off the quick time set by Tracy Petter. How about the red ream rocket of Josh Batista? Swing that car wide, get the back end to hang out ever so slightly into turn number 3. Batista's lap number 1 was a 21.26. What'll lap number 2 be? It will not be faster. Josh Batista is going to hold on to position number 4. We mentioned it here very, very briefly during qualifying The championship battle for this series is tight. Mitch Drevnovsky holds a 12-point lead over Tracy Petter. Derek Love sitting 109 points back of the championship. Probably out of contention with the way the SOF is shaping up tonight. But good battles throughout the field here. D. Love, Jeffrey Stanton, Austin Rich Miller back through the top 5 in your championship standings. So as the field gets ready to head out to the grid, how about we go ahead and take a look, show you tonight's starting lineup. On the pole, in the number 1 will be Tracy Petter. The car's 98 on the speedway, the 1 in timing and scoring with a lap time of 19.960 seconds. Mitch Drevnovsky of the Coors Extra Gold, number 21, will line up on the outside of the front row, a full 1/10 of a second back here after qualifying. Row number 2 will have the Miller High Life Special belonging to Austin Rich Miller. And to his outside, the Red Ream Rocket of Josh Batista. That car, number 20, will be the 7 on your timing and scoring monitors this evening. Connor Knowlton lining up inside of row number 3 in the number 24 machine. And to his outside, the Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94 of Jeffrey Stanton. Rich Foreman in the Rich Foreman Photography. Car number 7, paint job number 7. Car number 13 in timing and scoring inside of row number 4. Excuse me. To his outside will be the 15 of Mike Long. Row number 5 will have the Me Fine, number 12 of Zach Evans. Lining up alongside of the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, number 19 of Robert Love in the fantastic Brian Clausen throwback. Row number 6 will be Dan Holmes in the number 14, alongside of the Lucas Oil number 16 of Austin Nye. Cool BC tribute there on the helmet for Austin as well. Kenneth Allen lining up inside of row number 7 in the Feeding America number 10. Giving us a little shout out there with the logo up on the hood of that car. Thank you very much, sir. And Dylan Vilashinsky in car number 6. The Harbor Freight car number 6 on row 7. Row number 8 will be the Kibu number 11 of Laura Gerhardt, alongside of the number 16, a throwback entry, the True Value number 9 of Jeff Wins. Bryson Hoff in car number 76. It'll be the 17 in timing and scoring. He will line up 17th inside of row number 9. Eric Cox lining up on the outside of that row in the Team 5J number 21. Row number 10 tonight will be Derek Love. D-Love not scoring a lap in qualifications. That is a big surprise. Lining up to his outside will be Aaron Parsons. And on the final row of the grid, the Scoobco number 20 of Canada's Ronald Gibbons. Field making their way through turns 3 and 4. Pace car already in, getting ready to roll on the season finale for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup, and we're green. Field going to get themselves, looks like, cleanly off of turn number 2. Jeffrey Stanton making the high line work right now. We will see 3 distinct grooves in play around this place tonight, as Mitch Drevnovsky leads lap number 1 over Tracy Petter. Austin Rich Miller holds on to 3rd. Stanton trying to get some grip up there on the outside, but we have caution. Trouble on the racetrack, and it looks like maybe trouble for Bryson Hoff. Take a look and see what we can find here on the NRN replay. A 76 machine up on the outside of the speedway. Oh, maybe a little bit too much. Throttle wild ride down into the infield. Oh, he's upside down. And a huge hit for the 18 of Aaron Parsons. Holy crap, I hear Bizzle in my ears. Oh, we'll turn your mic on now. What's up, buddy?
Howdy, yeah. I had some internet trouble. Literally, right as we hit the stream on, looked at my router and it was lighting up all sorts of red, and restarted my computer, restarted the router, and then my sound driver didn't want to work. I'm like, what the heck is going on tonight?
Yeah, you are a pile of issues. That's not the first time I think anybody has said that to you.
I am only getting 3.5 megabits per second upload, though, so definitely still something going on, but we got just enough to make it work tonight.
Well, there you go. 50-lap feature event tonight. 2 laps are in the books. And we have a crazy tight points battle we were talking about a little bit here. I think that's about when your interwebs died. Mitch Drevnovsky holding a 12-point lead over Tracy Petter. The unfortunate thing here for Tracy is, irregardless of what happens tonight, it may not be enough. The SOF only 29-13 on this one. It would take something crazy to happen to Mitch Drevnovsky pretty early in this race.
Yeah, he would pretty much have to finish in last place, which we've watched enough of these sprint car guys. We know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, not only that, but he would also have to score more points than his next lowest drop week as well. So it's not, he doesn't just have to beat Mitch by 12 points, but he also has to beat his, the highest drop week by 12 points as well.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen here. Basically, all he has to do is keep that car in one piece, make it to the green flag, and it's his championship.
Yeah, Mitch Drevnovsky should claim a championship tonight, but we'll see. That's why we run the races and don't do them on paper, as the lights are out on the iRacing safety car. The cars of, let's see, Bryson Hoff and Aaron Parsons are on pit lane. Likely will be a race over scenario for those drivers. Getting a good look at the field here. Weather conditions tonight are pretty darn good. 83 degree temperature, 85 degree track temp. They practiced just now. Temps were down in the 60s, and they were a full second and a quarter faster than what they were doing now, which was absolutely crazy. But don't think we're going to see those numbers tonight with the sun kind of still up here in a lot of respects. It's, I guess, golden hour is what we'll call it here. Pretty yellow hue to everything, but top 2 breaking away. Austin Rich Miller having to try to fend off Josh Batista for position number 3. And keep your eye on Jeffrey Stanton. We were watching the video in the pre-race. Oh, hold up. We are back under caution. And it looks like Dan Holmes and Jeff Wentz may have had a big one here. Take a look at the NRN replay. There's Holmes, the white 14 machine on the inside. Wentz in the 19. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh! Violent hit for both of those guys.
Slight little checkup and everything goes wrong in these machines.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You go from, I'll be all right, to it ain't good. And it happens pretty darn quickly as well. It's so tricky with these cars because they just want to go around. If you give them too much throttle, they go around. If you back off too quickly, they go around. And if you punch the gas too much, they go around. So it's really a balancing act of kind of counter steering, riding the brake a little bit, and still keeping some throttle in it when you're trying to slow down.
Yeah, the pedals are 90% of how you drive these cars. The steering wheel is only there just to ask the car to go in a certain direction. Hey, there's a left turn coming up. Do you want to go this way? Please, please, please. Put your right foot on that throttle. That is what's actually making the car go around these corners. You can see that right rear tire is about twice the size of the left rear, and that stagger is what pushes these cars around the corners. They do not want to go in a straight line all that much at all.
No, they do not. And actually, I think I may post the video to the OG first ever. I think it was Thursday Night Thunder. It was either Tuesday or Thursday Night Thunder, the first show they did. The 410, these sprint cars here at IRP back in the late 1980s on ESPN. Steve Butler was running a line down about where Josh Batista is on the racetrack. Left front tire in the air most of the way through the corner and absolutely smoking the right rear the entire way through. Just a blast to watch how just the different ways you can try to get around here.
Yeah, even when I was here in the real world, what was that, 2022 for the Carb Night Classic that ended up being the Saturday Day Classic. it was incredible seeing the Silver Crowns and the midgets, how they could run the entire track. The PM18s, not so much. They were kind of all stuck up there around that high line, but these beasts, they just, anywhere you put them, they're happy here.
Yes, and I will say absolutely I know it was unplanned, but one of the greatest days in pavement open wheel racing we've had was that 2022 rainout. The midgets and the Silver Crowns ran in the morning, and then everybody jumped in the cars and absolutely hauled ass to Anderson Speedway for the Little 500 that night.
Not only just to the Little 500, but to see if Cody Swanson could win all 3 races in the same day.
That's right, win all 3 races at 2 different tracks as we go back to green flag racing here. Lap number 5 will go up on the board. Oh, baby, one car already scraping the outside wall at the entrance to turn number 1. Seeing the TNT down here in the comments from Stephen C. Thompson. Thank you very much, sir. He's able to do that because he's one of our channel members, and we appreciate the support there from Stephen. And how about this one? Good battle here. Jeffrey Stanton, Connor Knowlton, Josh Batista dueling hard here. Stanton starting to make that inside lane work as Batista scrapes the outside wall. We're talking full-on slide jobs is what we're going to be seeing late in this race, as you kind of have to go grip hunting around here.
Yeah, it's so much fun now, and especially after this next update when we get the Tempest weather, it's going to be even more dramatic, where you're going to have cloud cover over part of the track, Highline's going to be good at the beginning of the race. Oh, man!
Wow, what a save, Jeffrey Stanton! Oh my goodness, Josh Batista and Rich Foreman got a little bit of a piece of that as well. Oh, they're still banging the wall down the front stretch. Oh, we've got a yard sale in turn 1, it sounds like. Caution is out. Oh, and Robert Love upside down on the front straightaway. That's not where you want to be parking that car. Oh man, big run from Laura Gerhardt in the 11. Love taps the wall. Big contact with the inside concrete retaining wall, and nothing you can do. Have to take the tow. And Robert Love is out of here, already having disconnected, as we are working lap number 8 of 50. Not getting a whole lot in here under green flag conditions. Kind of what we would expect here out of the sprint cars at IRP. There's so many different lanes, quite frankly, so many different ways to make a mistake. And if you don't have a ton of experience in the car, that could get ugly, as we have 3 cars on pit lane: Ronald Gibbons, Aaron Parsons, and Laura Gerhardt. It's kind of funny watching these guys as we're under caution here, Bizzle. We've got some swerving around to try to keep temperature in the tires. Some are trying to run the far inside of the racetrack to get some heat out of the tires. It really is a delicate balancing act that you have to do here, not only in managing temperature in the moment, but also managing it for later in the race. 50 laps is a long run around this place.
Yeah, this track is longer than half a mile, if I remember right. It's like 0.6 of a mile, just over 0.6.
Yep.
So it's one of the longer races here on the schedule. Almost a 40-mile race, which doesn't sound all that impressive. But for sprint cars, that's an enduro.
Yeah, it's long. The only races you really get that you start talking about that are longer, the Little 500, obviously, which is 500 laps. That's just stupid long. And then you have everything else is kind of in that it tops out at around 50 laps, and they're considered the crown jewels of the real world sprint car tour, the 500 sprint car tour. And so it looks like we will get at least one more lap under the caution flag here. And remember, caution laps don't count. So now these guys run 4 or 5 laps. You get the heat built back up in the tires. You get another caution flag. We're already talking about being 3 full heat cycles in on this set of tires, and they don't have a set to change out of.
Yeah, and even if they did, there's no real pit crews in any of sprint car racing, even the little 500. It's you and a couple of your drinking buddies you hang out with in the garage. They go out there in t-shirts and beer guts, and it takes you 35, 40, even up to a minute to change a tire on these cars. A tire. It's ridiculous. There's no power tools for the rear lugs. They're single lugs in the rear. One of them is clockwise, one of them is counterclockwise, and you have a big giant L wrench to try and get it off.
Yeah, they actually, just in the last year, I forget who it was, one of the companies out of central Pennsylvania here built a lug wrench, a lug socket, I guess you will, for an impact gun. And it is like groundbreaking for these World of Outlaw teams and the other 410 dirt teams that they can now quick change a tire that goes flat, because that's what you had to do. It was a breaker bar is what you use to get these huge right rears off the car. As we go back to green flag racing here, it will be lap number 9 going up on the scoreboard next time by. And field already slightly depleted, down to 16 cars on the racing surface, all of whom are on the lead lap. Austin Rich Miller, Connor Knowlton battling for third. Knowlton with a big slide off at turn number 2. Jeffrey Stanton making that outside lane, trying to make it work anyway. And this is one of those places, Bizzle, where you really can see the difference. You might be a little bit faster around the bottom, but the outside lane just has so much more juice coming off the corner.
Yeah, that outside lane is way, way, way longer, which doesn't normally seem like a good thing, but these corners are so short that you just get a huge drive off down these straightaways, which are monster straightaways for a short track.
Yeah, it was deceptively big when I made my first visit out here, watching the pavement Silver Crowns run. And those cars are a blast to watch rip around this place. The sprint cars were borderline terrifying. You just watched it and went, these guys are animals. How about the animals at the front of the field? Drevnovsky and Petter side by side for the lead. Just a little bit of a kiss to the outside wall for Mitch Drevnovsky. Big crossover coming off at turn number 2. Oh, I love watching these cars slide around. What a great look for the entrance to turn number 3. And it seems like we say this a lot. Now, I would expect it out of Drevnovsky and Petter, but there is only so many laps that you can run side by side in these cars before you either somebody has to back out or you're wadded up into the safer barrier somewhere.
Yeah, sprint cars aren't known for their long green flag runs. You can see right there, 24 just gets loose and bangs up into the wall. That happens each and every lap with almost every single one of these cars. They're bound to wreck eventually.
And how about Jeffrey Stanton running that Steve Butler line almost down into the grass at the entrance to turn number 1 last time? Man, that puts so much stress on the tires, though, because you're basically sliding sideways across the racing surface when you do that.
Yeah, in that video we were watching earlier, I had to ask if this track was a dirt track just because of the way they were all sliding around here. It was impressive.
Yeah, you wonder if it's a dirt track until you see all the smoke blowing off the right rear tires. And quite frankly, hold on to it. Wow. Oh, big hit. We've got a yard sale turn 3. Jeffrey Stanton going to be involved. I think Josh Batista as well. Stanton's upside down. Who was that just flipping into the camera view? Possibly, let's see. I'm trying to see who else was involved here. Josh Batista is just getting that car flipped around. He will tow to pit lane. Well, no, maybe not. He's going to come to a stop with smoke pouring out of the engine. take a look here and see what we can find. This may be coming in a little bit on the tail end of this one here. There's the contact. Stanton and Batista hard in the outside wall. Oh, and Zach Evans goes for a ride as well. Yeah, that was Josh Batista flipping into our camera view down there. Man, tough break. And that it just goes to show with how difficult these cars are to control. A little wiggle becomes big contact and a huge wreck just incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're driving an Indy car where you can jerk the wheel quickly out of the way and try and avoid an incident. If that car decides it wants to join the wreck, you're just along for the ride.
So now working at lap number 18 of this 50-lap race. There is the possibility of a time limit coming into effect here, but they still have 42 minutes left to go. It would take a whole lot more caution in order for this one to not run the full scheduled distance. But it is also about 4 minutes per caution, about 4 to 5 minutes per caution period. A lot of time clicks off the clock here when you're doing 35 mile an hour under yellow.
Yeah, and especially since caution laps don't count, it can really drag these races on for a while.
One of the things that we had talked about coming into this season, and season 2 is where it really gets affected by this, is with the time change, the TNT, this race moves to 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in just a few weeks here, because the SOF itself doesn't change. That's based off of a GMT time slot. So basically what happens is the Silver Crowns and the Sprints flip the hour that they run. What that means for you guys is coming up for iRacing Season 2, which will start here in a couple of weeks, we will pick up the broadcast of these cars again on Tuesday nights. Silver Crowns move to 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time, and the Sprint cars move to 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That occurs when the time change happens, not necessarily with week 1. We'll keep you up to date on when the next broadcast is, and we'll get the ticker up at the bottom here as soon as we can get it updated. But just keep that in mind. But we will be back for another Tuesday night fracas with the iRacing Sprint cars. The TNT Shock Series going live at 9:45 should give us enough time to get these races in as we go back to Green Flag Racing. And man, Mitch Drevnovsky just gets a big start over Tracy Petter. It's so tough when you're battling at the front of the field, you're in Tracy Petter's spot. It's basically going to take you 2 laps to get caught up.
Yeah, you have to get that run built up again and kind of close that gap once again, which with the frequency these guys go under yellow, it's very frustrating to do.
Well, we talked about the fact that the track temperature may not be conducive to potential tire model record speeds. That was before the clouds rolled in and it started getting really dark out here. The darker it gets, the cooler this track will get. And we could actually see speeds improve as the track grips up. And that's something these drivers are going to have to adjust to. You don't see the lights take effect just yet. Oh, as Mitch Drevnovsky bounces it off the outside wall. You don't see the lighting take effect necessarily until you go, oh, hey, we're completely dark now. But you have to be aware of that. The clouds are rolling in, that the lights are taking effect, and you have to be able to adjust to that changing track temperature.
Yeah, that's when you see the cream rise to the top, where the track changes very quickly, and whoever's able to adapt the quickest and get that car back under control is going to be the guy that's up there running that top spot. And right now, that's Tracy Petter.
Take a look back here. Pick up Mike Long, Dylan Milashinsky, and Derek Love. How about D-Love? He is your hard charger of the night, gaining 11 positions after not getting a lap in qualifying. currently up 12 with the pass on Wieloszinski and going to work on Mike Long to put that car up to 6th. Derek Love is the guy who loves all these caution flags that are happening because we're only to the halfway point right now. With another caution or two, he could be battling here for a podium position. Wieloszinski now working on Mike Long. Good run for car number 15 there, and Mike Long. Also the 13 of Rich Foreman. Those guys in position to see some pretty solid iRating jumps, as well as this guy. Eric Cox in the number 21. Up 10 in the standings. That will be a very solid iRating jump if he can keep that car underneath him, as we've got one spun around down on the inside, and it's going to be the 6 of Wieloszinski. We're going to stay green. Wieloszinski is off the racing line. Take a look here, see if we can catch what happened. Well, that wasn't the right one. Here's the incident with Wieloszinski and Mike Long. Oh, big. Again, a couple of cars bouncing off the outside wall. Big contact for both of them. But through all of this, we've stayed under green flag conditions. And Derek Love coming around Rich Foreman. He's up inside the top 5. He may not even need a caution flag to challenge for a podium. Battle at the front, staying close. Tracy Petter holding a 2-car length lead over Mitch Drevnovsky as they get to the start-finish line. And they will be down to 20 laps to go here in the season finale at IRP. It's interesting. We've seen the clouds start to move out again, and the track temperature going back up to 86 degrees as it stands right now. Pretty breezy night as well. Winds out of the west at 17 miles an hour. I don't know that the winds have that much of an effect on these cars, though. Too much right foot that you have to worry about.
Yeah, these things don't have anything on them that would act like a sail in the wind. I'd be confident driving one of these in a hurricane. In fact, the wind might plant these things to the ground more than a calm, breezy day.
But that's something you have to adjust for, though, in the driver's seat, is knowing, hey, the 3 and 4 end, I'm going to have a little bit more downforce just from the wind. I can use that to my advantage, and maybe you're going to be a little bit looser then at the opposite end of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, especially at some of the bigger ovals, which I guess for these cars, this would be one of the bigger ovals, but where you have a tailwind going into one of the corners and you have a headwind coming out of one of the next. It's the same reason airplanes always fly and land going into the wind, because it gives them extra lift.
Yeah, that's a big thing they talk about at the sister speedway just down the road here, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A tailwind off of turn 2 is when you get close to track record speeds, because you can take full advantage of it down the backstretch. When the tailwind is going into turn 1, the grandstands kind of play funky with that wind, and you actually have to lift earlier for turn 1. So the drivers like to see that tailwind off of 2 for outright speed. Right now, this is the best fight on the racetrack. Austin Nye and Zach Evans battling for the 7th position. The gap for the lead is up to nearly a half second for Tracy Petter over Mitch Drevnovsky. And with a lot of cars still on the racetrack, I would have to think maybe a little bit of conservation here out of Mitch Drevnovsky possibly. If he finishes 13th and Tracy Petter gets the win, that's when the championship scenarios come into play. as opposed to I'll take my second place finish and go home with another podium and a championship.
Yeah, I mean, you'd much rather win on the final night of the year, getting the championship, holding the race-winning trophy right next to your championship trophy. But at the same time, you put in all the work for the whole season. Just bring it home and get the real big trophy and reward yourself for the 12 weeks you've been doing this.
That's exactly right. How about it? Derek Love has caught the back of Austin Rich Miller and Connor Knowlton. This is third, fourth, and fifth as we're down to 10 laps to go. The bounce of these things off the outside wall down the front stretch. And Tracy Petter's lead is up to now 3/4 of a second over Mitch Drevnovsky. That's not conserving for a championship. I think that may be a case of Mitch may have used up a little bit too much trying to slice his way through the field as D-Love makes the look inside of Knowlton. He'll pull off that little soft slider into one. Knowlton trying the crossover off at turn number 2. Had a pretty good run, but looked like backed out ever so slightly to avoid the contact with D-Love. And now Derek going to have 8 laps to try to get caught up to and around Austin Rich Miller to put that car on the podium. I have to say, Bizzle, this is kind of what I expected out of this race tonight. A fair bit of caution early on. Once you kind of winnow the field down a little bit, then you're going to get a long green flag run, and that's exactly what we're seeing here late in this race.
These drivers just kind of putting around. They're still racing pretty hard there, but nothing like we saw at the beginning of this race, and there's no reason to between the top two. But this is the fight for the podium spot. Derek Love really wants it.
Yeah, and if he can get around Austin Rich Miller, it would be a gain of 16 positions from where he did not qualify, so I don't think he technically qualifies for the Hard Charger Award. Not exactly like we're giving anything out with it anyway, so we'll give it to him, I guess. But now he's only about 5.7 seconds back of the race leader. With 4 to go, it's going to take a caution flag for him to catch up to Mitch Drevnovsky. And Tracy Petter is just gone. 1.4 seconds the gap now stands at. Oh, but the caution's out! Yellow flag is out. Wreck happens right in front of the race leaders. Oh, my goodness. Big trouble for the 10 and the 20.
Ooh. Just got right into that fuel tank and spun him around.
Good Lord. That was a wild ride for Ronald Gibbons. As we'll go back to the live look here and pick up Tracy Petter, and this is exactly what he didn't want to see, with the exception of there's only 2 laps to go. We know how good the advantage has been for the race leader on the restarts. It takes about 2 laps to be able to make a move, but Mitch Drevnovsky's going to have a shot, and so maybe will Derek Love. I do not believe, though, that they send lap cars to the back here. So, looks like there may be a lap car between Mitch Drevnovsky and Derek Love. We'll see. I guess the wave back happens at the 2 to go, right? Or does it happen at 1 to go?
I believe it's either the 2 to go or the 1 to go. But if it doesn't happen and I was that lap car, I would say the courteous thing to do would be like to run down pit lane. But if you've got cars that are 3-4 spots behind you, you're racing position with, you obviously don't want to let them by.
Yeah, Dylan Vilashinsky has Aaron Parsons on the same lap.
Frankly, on the restart, I would just hang down low there and at least let Derek Love get side by side, if not passed by the start-finish line.
Right. You can, if you stay down on the apron, there is nothing that stops D-Love from making the pass on the outside before the start-finish line. Can't do it before the green flag, but once the green flag comes out, Derek Love is free to make that pass on the outside. And quite frankly, he may even be saying that over the in-sim voice chat. Hey, give me some room on the start here. I want to fight for the win.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally going to be a 2-lap shootout. If you lose that run, there's no getting it back.
What makes that scenario interesting is you have to stay within a certain number of car lengths of the car in front of you. Oh, well, there you go. There's the wave around happening. So, moot point on the discussion. The 6 will head to the tail end of the lead lap. So we'll have Tracy Petter, Mitch Drevnovsky, Derek Love, Austin Rich Miller, and Connor Knowlton all lined up nose to tail. Rich Foreman in the 6th position, Zach Evans 7th, Eric Cox, Austin Nye, and Kenneth Allen, the top 10. All of those cars on the lead lap. So we should get the 1-to-go signal this time by. And Tracy Petter running that inside lane. He wants all the cool he can get for those Hoosier tires, because taking a look at the weather and not much of a change. Temperature has only dropped 1 degree. Of note here, Petter has to get caught up to the iRacing safety car here as well. You can leave a gap, sort of. You can't leave too much of a gap because that can get you a restart infraction from the automated officials as well.
Yeah, there's kind of a sweet spot you can sit in, and you have to hold pace speed. If you're going way too slow, it's going to wave those guys by you.
Well, the field is all caught up here through 3 and 4. Oh, looks like it could be a good restart for Mitch Drevnovsky with 2 laps to go here in the season finale. The heat cycles will come into play. Derek Love will not be a factor here, at least not yet. They will come around to see the white flag, and it'll be 1 lap to go. Drevnovsky, does he have a run on Tracy Petter? Nothing
Gonna
as
have
of
one
yet.
last shot for the dive.
Yeah, nothing
I think
developing.
he's too far away.
Oh, but he tries the Butler line into 3. May it not matter. It will not. Twin checkers in the air. Tracy Petter claims the win at IRP. Mitch Drevnovsky comes home 2nd. And Derek Love with the drive of the night coming up to position number 3. There's Tracy Petter parking it down on the front stretch in victory lane. Good look at that number 98 machine. A fantastic run here for Petter. And while these guys all start to get themselves ready to head up to the victory lane interviews, let's show you tonight's race results. Tracy Petter claiming the win, leading 29 laps to come home ahead of Mitch Drevnovsky. Derek Love, like we said, great drive up 16 spots. He will finish in position number 3. 4th to Austin Rich Miller. 5th Connor Knowlton. 6th to Rich Foreman. 7th Zach Evans. Eric Cox gains 10 positions, finishes in 8th. Dylan Vilashinsky coming home in the 9th position, and Aaron Parsons also gaining 10 to round out the top 10. Second page of the leaderboard will have Austin Nye and Kenneth Allen, the first 2 cars, 1 lap down. Followed by Ronald Gibbons, Laura Gerhardt, Mike Long, Dan Holmes, Jeffrey Stanton, Josh Batista, Robert Love, and Jeff Wentz. Not often we get to the third page of the leaderboard, but we do here tonight. Bryson Hoff going out on that lap 1 incident. He finishes 49 laps behind your race winner. So it is time for the victory lane interviews, and Well, let's get the camera squared up first, and then we'll bring our drivers up to talk with us here. Let's talk to Mr. Tracy Petter, our race winner here tonight. Tracy, congratulations. A really great drive, leading 29 laps tonight, but it was a hard-fought battle there with Mitch, especially coming down with that late restart.
Oh, that late restart made me nervous. I knew I had to win this to even have a shot at the points. I still don't think I'm going to be able to get it, but it's close.
Yeah, it's going to be very close, actually. And let's take a look and see if that has updated here. And no, it has. I haven't seen the update yet, but like you said, it's going to be tight. How was the car tonight? Because it seemed like the track temps were a little bit warmer than in the practice session that was prior. Not sure what the 6 o'clock race was like, but seemed like the cars were a little bit on edge here tonight.
Yeah, so any practice I went into was low 70s, like 72, 74. Then we go up into this. The car acts way different. You got way less grip on the track. You have to drive in way less deep. My car was a mess. I couldn't make a quick change or anything. It was wicked loose, tight. It was everything. It was a struggle to drive that thing.
Yeah, and you're still able to set some pretty ridiculous lap times at the front. Congratulations on the big win here tonight, and it looks like it's going to be 12 points shy of a championship for you here. Congratulations on really a great season. 20 starts, 10 wins. 19 top fives, absolutely just ridiculous numbers, and leading almost 70% of the laps completed. Outside of those 12 points, is there anything else you could ask for in a season?
No, it was a really good season, especially again 1-2. We were teammates the whole season. We got it done.
Well, there you go. Bringing the hardware home back to the shop is always a good thing, Tracy. Congratulations on the win tonight here, the great season. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs you want to get in for us.
Yeah, shout out to EPI and SRS, and of course you guys for doing the broadcast.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. And we're going to move over and talk to our third place finisher here, Mr. Derek Love. First off, I got to ask you, what happened in qualifying? Because seeing your name at the back of the pack is not what we were expecting.
Myself either, or the team, that one comes down to me. Caught the wall right at the start-finish line, and it dragged the tire past the line, so it disqualified lap 1 and lap 2 for me, unfortunately.
Oh, I hate it. That's the kind of mistake I make.
Yeah, that was tough, but oh well. I still feel like hey, top 3. That's what I would have hoped we would have finished anyways. Wish we would have had a chance to really battle it there. That caution came out, and I was excited, but also like, man, I didn't want to get greedy, but I really needed that to come out a few laps before. Because it's just these cars are so dominant on that restart that if you get that jump, it takes 2 laps to get caught back up to someone, and that's all we had. And I just happy to man, we had some fun racing tonight, 19th to 3rd. I hate to see it for my dad. He caught the wall early on. We're just having a good time out here. We love it here.
Yeah, that was his wreck was a big one. But how do you drive through that? I mean, I know you got a little bit of help from the attrition, but that's still a lot of work to drive the car through the field and still have enough tire left under it to even have a hope with that late race caution.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern with the tire. By the time I got up there, I was like, well, I got the fuel because I pitted midway through. So I had the fuel, the extra little bit of traction, but just the tire just wasn't quite there. That was definitely my concern with it. I don't know. What else were you asking on it?
It's just how do you drive it so you conserve and be quick to pass through the field? Because that's tough.
Yeah, well, that's what I remember. I was going to say is I was joking in the voice chat that I lost more positions under caution than I was getting in the race. Officially, because I'd pass 5 guys, and then I'd have to get 3 of the spots back when the caution came out because we weren't to the start finish line. So I had to pass these guys multiple times, and these guys they're quick back there. They just don't have that 1 lap pace to qualify up front, but they definitely made me work for getting around them. So shout out to those guys. We all ran clean back there, and I honestly just had to throw it down on the apron. That was my only trick to really get around them. It seemed like everyone was running on the top, so I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna make this bottom work. I just put dang near put it in the grass multiple times and just slid up and hope I can just get in front of them and just drive away.
Well, I tell you what, Derek, you're a fantastic season for you. 37 starts, which is crazy in this car. I think you ran almost every official. In fact, I think Jeffrey is the only guy who did. But 37 starts, 18 wins, 36 top 5 finishes. Again, nothing to shake a stick at and really something to be proud of.
Yeah, that's, these Tracy and Mitch, man, those guys are fast. So I'm just out here trying to get some wins right now. That's my goal. You end up losing a little bit of points doing it if you catch every race because it starts to average out. But I'm just really wanting to run the car as much as I can, get more people, and just try to click away on that wins column, see what we can do with that long term, and hopefully it just puts us doing that, just puts us up front and keep doing what we're doing. Maybe click off another championship here sometime soon, man. But these guys bring some fast cars out here, so we'll be working on it on the off season, and we'll be back again.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the Victory Lane podium. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs in for us one more time.
Yeah, shout out to you guys for this season. Hope to see you again next season. I believe you are. We'll be out here running, of course, in the Street Sides Classic machine. Shout out to the babes back at the shop for building this, and we'll see you soon.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. And now it's time to talk to our championship winner and runner-up here tonight, Mr. Mitch Drevnovsky. Mitch, it was 12 points entering the night, and we did the interview with Tracy. It was 12 points, and then they updated. How about 3 separating you and Tracy at the end of this season? Congratulations on the championship. An absolutely phenomenal season for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun all season. I knew that one right there was going to either come down to you're going to have to win it, or if I wasn't going to win it, I kind of had to get second, knowing it was so close, and couldn't really risk finishing third just in case it didn't pad out enough points. But yeah, it seemed like it came down right to the end there, and we were able to lock it up.
At one point we were talking about the fact that did you back off trying to conserve the second place finish? Is that what was going through your head there, or kind of how did that all shake out for you tonight?
Yeah, the car really just went away pretty bad. Once he got by, I was able to kind of hold him off, and then it really just went away real bad. Just tight up top, too loose in the center, and just couldn't get back to him. So I figured, I don't know how this thing's going to play out points-wise, so try to get a second. Then we got that late yellow, and figured maybe if I can get a decent jump on the start, try to dive it under him and get him to poke it up a little bit and make a run at the end, but we just weren't able to do it. So the car was just a little off, but good enough to run second and win the championship, so that's always good.
And it was a phenomenal championship season. You had 22 starts, 13 wins, 21 top 5s, and 6 poles, leading almost about a third of the laps that you ran. How good of a season was that? Because it seems like every time we talk about these numbers at the end of the year, you have to earn more and more points to claim the championship.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough battle with all the guys in here. Everyone's pretty stout, and they're showing up every week with good stuff. And, everyone in the field is a good high I rating, and it brings good SOFs, and you kind of expect the same guys every week, so you know who you're going to be racing. And, we just had to stay kind of locked in all season, and all the guys on the team did a great job making the sets and came prepared every week to, if not win it, run second or third and just score the highest amount of points that we could. And that's kind of what we did all season, and we're able to get it done.
Do you now have to consider running the rest of the SOFs this week? I think you guys run another one on Thursday night. Do you have to run that one just to make sure that that Tracy doesn't pick up enough points to take it away from you?
Yeah, that's always something with the iRacing deal. It's not just the one race, and these are the points. So, we'll be eyeballing that. If there's a big race going off and I think it's going to pay out more points, then we'll certainly be there. And if it's not a big SOF and he's there, we'll also be there because I want to win it. So got to try to lock it down. But he had the stuff to beat tonight, so if we're going to do that, got to get a little better on the set here and see how it goes. But hopefully we just have it locked up by tonight and we can end it on that note.
All right, Mitch. Well, congratulations on what looks to be a championship. Not officially official yet, but hell of a season for you. Congratulations on it. And do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs before we let you out of here.
Yeah, I just want to thank all the guys at Ski Race Shop and Elite Performance Industries and all the guys that help out making all the sets and have given us tips along the way, trying to make everything better, and everyone for showing up, everyone who had a good season and just competed all year. We had a lot of fun. And, of course, you guys for doing the broadcast every week. It's been a lot of fun, and you guys do a great job, so really appreciate it.
Well, thank you much, sir. We appreciate the kind words from you. And as we go back to the live look here around the Indianapolis Raceway Park, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, this was everything we had hoped for out of this race tonight. Great battle at the front. We got to see an incredible drive from Derek Love, having to pass 900 cars to finish on the podium. And unfortunately, we saw some of the big wrecks as well.
Yeah, this was your typical sprint car race. We've seen it for 12 weeks now, and they're always so much fun to watch here. And I couldn't have thought of a better ending to the championship season than what we had here tonight. Maybe a side-by-side photo finish, but you're not really going to get those in sprint cars anyway.
No, you're not. And quite frankly, we basically got the equivalent of that in the points championship as it stands right now. Only 3 separating Mitch Drevnovsky and Tracy Petter. Now, to cover how this would work, if the Thursday night race goes off with a higher SOF, their strength of field, than tonight's race, that's what would count for the week for both Mitch Drevnovsky and Tracy Petter. But the difference is not 3 points. The difference is the 12 that they entered the night with. So basically, if you run less than 4 races a week, it takes or 4 or fewer, it takes your best finish. What that means basically is kind of the same deal as we saw tonight. Tracy Petter has to win and hope Mitch Drevnovsky has a worse points night than he did tonight in order to claim the championship.
Yeah, so it's not over, it's not official, it's not in the books yet, but it's about 90% there. It's going to take a stroke of luck really bad for Tracy Petter to win this thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it would have to take something crazy for Tracy to win it. But Mitch goes out early. Tracy picks up the win in a better, even slightly better SOF. That would be the 3 points that's needed. So it's going to be a wild night here coming up. I guess Thursday would be the next SOF. But unfortunately, we can't bring that one to you because we'll be on the air with the USF Pro Championship running their season finale at the Okayama circuit. That one is going to be, quite frankly, I think it'll be a pretty darn good race. Maybe not as huge of a field as we normally see, but that place is so tight and twisty, should put on a great show. But with that, time for Bizzle and I to get the heck on out of here. Thank you very much, Patrick. I really appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup season, and thank you all for watching as well. We really appreciate it. All the broadcast costs are covered by you, the fans. Your super chats, your super thanks, channel memberships, those sorts of things. That's how we pay the bills here to get these shows on the air. So thank you for all who have helped cover those costs this season. We really appreciate it. And with that, we are getting out of here. For Bizzle and everybody else in the National Racing Network that gets these shows on the air, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.